But this time we're going to do a little bit more driving and a little bit more, I don't mean responsible driving, a little bit more effective driving. So you move off when you're ready, follow the road ahead please. Did you have a chance to read over the PDF that I sent?
I read the bay parking, yeah.
That's fine, that's good enough for me. When you go home, try and go through all of them. They'll help you drive considerably actually.
Yeah, I do like reading them to help prepare for our lessons.
At the end of the road, turn left.
Okay, there's a car coming.
Mm-hmm.
After this car, I'm gonna move off.
Mm-hmm. And that's all we needed to do yesterday. The way you've planned it now is correct. Now deal with the problem that you have down there. So start processing what they're doing and think of an action plan and think of a plan B with your action plan.
Okay, so I'm gonna check my mirrors. Slowly move over to the right. Slowing down a little bit behind these cars. Checking mirrors. Okay, and moving back over, checking mirrors, moving back over.
Good, well done, not bad. I would love that job.
Just hitting the leaves off.
Yeah, it's very therapeutic.
Yeah.
I think it's a good job to do. Tell me what your brain's telling you now.
Slowing down because there's going to be a turn.
Is it the turn that's worrying you or what's going around the corner?
It's what's gonna come around the corner.
Yeah. Then I would have gone a little slower.
Okay.
A bit slower than that. Maybe you'll have the same problem again. And now that you've got no problem, gently increase. Yes. Well done. In relation to what you've done now and the way you did it, that was correct. I'm referring to stopping behind the line when he was turning right and you knew reasonably you're not going to clear the junction with him obstructing it. Do you know, it's the second time that's happened to me in a good 8 months, and it's the second time, and it's only been with you, that I've seen somebody turn right in front of me on this road, coming along this road. It's never happened to me before.
Turn, oh right, like what, coming this way?
No, you know, the gentleman turned right a few moments ago.
Yeah.
It's very rare that happens, very rare.
Oh yeah.
And I've only had 2 lessons recently in this area going ahead, and I've had somebody in front of me turning right.
Oh, I see.
Very rare. It's like when we come back, they're not there. Now look at the sign on the left, follow the signs for Headingley, and continue following that sign until I tell you different. This is just a little bit of independent drive for you to do on your own. So continue following the road ahead, continue following the sign for Headingley until road markings or signs or me tell you different.
Okay. Would I let this person go? No.
now that you've made, like, you did the safest thing in relation to what you were doing, it's our job now to get you back onto the same road again. Although you've gone wrong, no problem. You decided it was unsafe because there was a car on your right. It's not an issue. So you follow the road ahead, I'll give you directions. We're now going to take the next road on the right. Soon you'll approach a set of lights. It's a crossing. Immediately after the crossing you'll turn right. You'll see it soon. So it's the next road on the right.
It's not
here.
this one?
This one here, yes.
Oh, I see where you're supposed to turn. So I'm waiting here
Yes.
until my exit is clear,
Mm-hmm.
and it's clear that way.
Mm-hmm.
So after this cluster of cars,
Mm-hmm. I love the language you're using now. Good.
okay, and I'm going to move off,
Mm-hmm.
or not move off, but turn.
Makes perfect sense. I understand exactly what you're saying. At the end of the road, turn left. At the roundabout ahead, second exit.
So I have priority.
Soon we'll approach a roundabout, a mini roundabout. At the mini roundabout, take the second exit, turn right. Tell me when you recognize you're approaching a roundabout.
I see the sign for the mini roundabout
Lovely,
ahead.
that's fine. And that's exactly where the roundabout is. So we're turning right here.
So I have priority.
Mm-hmm. I have to stop you there, okay? You can carry on when you think it's safe. You've got complete control of the car. Better control, well done. quick look in your rear view mirror and carry on once you're ready. How many cars are behind you?
A lot.
Then be careful how hard you hit your brake. Did you ever play a game called Snake?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what you've got now with the cars behind you. So that group of cars behind you, so now look in your mirror, very, very gently brake. Good. Now carry on if he stops. Now carry on. Start moving your car. Start moving your car now. Now move your car a little to the right. Otherwise that snake is going to get longer and longer and longer. So the next time you stop the car, think about where you're stopping, why you're stopping, and how long you need to stop for.
So I'll stop here to let these cars pass. Because I don't want to stop next to a parked car.
That's right. Move off when you're ready. And you see the white car that's parked on the left? I want you to park behind this white car. But leave one car space between you and that car. A little bit to the right, then you'll start the curve, like that. Secure the car second. And cancel your signal. Just a 2-minute timeout. Okay, you're stopping for parked cars, which makes perfect, sorry, you're stopping for obstructions, makes perfect sense. You talk about this priority when you're approaching a roundabout. I'll discuss that with you in a second. But you're coming along this road and you're stopping at every conceivable point to stop. Now, when you turn the corner, when you come around the roundabout and you turn right, when you saw that bus, you should have come to a gentle stop there and then. Why should you have stopped? Because the bus was too large and you had to stop, otherwise you and the bus at that moment in time couldn't fit through together. When you stopped for the second car, it wasn't necessary. The car was small. You had no obstruction. You could have gently carried on and that car would have gone past you. However, if it was a lorry or a big transit van or wide van, you would need to stop. So when you're stopping the car, look for the size of the vehicle you're stopping for. Also look at the priority. If there's a vehicle parked on your side and you are going round the parked obstruction, then they have priority. If the parked obstruction's on their side, then you have priority. But if there's a parked obstruction on both sides, whoever's turned into the middle first and is committed, they would go first.
Can you repeat that? So if the obstruction is on your side,
our side, and they don't have an obstruction,
then they have priority?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. And if the obstruction's on their side, and not on our side, who has priority?
Our side.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. And let's say there's an obstruction on either side, who has priority?
Whoever's already going through first.
So if there's nobody in the middle, then we can go through, but nobody has priority because we both have an obstruction.
Okay.
However, like you've just told me now, if there's somebody in the middle, they would go through first.
Yes.
Okay? So whoever's committed first without reasonably changing their speed would go first. Yep. Just before we carry on, I'm going to ask for some feedback, okay? So go on. So let's say, for example, you're coming up the road and you're turning right, and there's a gap between you. Let's say there's a 5-car gap between your car and the vehicle behind you. And there's a car opposite you coming down the roundabout going ahead. So he's going down the road you're coming up from, and you are turning right. And like I said to you, if you're telling me, oh well, I have priority here, I'm going to turn, which you are correct. But there's nothing suggesting to me that you are turning right. So what do you think I'm going to do then? If I'm coming down that road,
you would have just gone ahead.
What do I do with my car though? Do I go slower or faster?
You just stay the same.
Do you reckon? Is that what your husband does?
Are you talking about the other car or me?
If your husband was a car opposite you coming down the road, when you go home, I want you to ask him.
slow down.
He doesn't slow down. He actually speeds up.
Oh, okay.
Because if the car behind you is 4 or 5 car back and he's signalling right, he doesn't want to stop for him. He wants to go and use you as a shield.
Oh, okay.
So he knows that you're going up, you're going ahead. So he'll go a lot faster. Trust me, does it? Analyze his behaviour. We all do it. It's just subconscious, we all do it. So it's like, oh, we don't want to stop from, let's quickly go so we don't have to stop. And the thing is, you're reassuring yourself you are doing something correct, and you are. The only thing you're not doing is letting that person know that you are turning right. So he has to, so you're not showing your intention early enough so he can yield. He doesn't know what you're doing. Now, in terms of the way you went round the roundabout, perfect. As you come off the roundabout, immediately when you saw the bus, you should have eased off. Now, I want to rewind back a little. So when you watch this video, I want you to get to the point where I said to you, immediately after the crossing, turn right. Now, you went into the area, the talk through that you gave was perfect. But you know the speed that you went into, I'm saying you're driving too fast. So when you went into that area, you were going too quick.
Okay.
So you were not slowing down early enough. You weren't speeding, you just weren't slowing down early enough as you're going into your protected area to turn right. So if I'm a learner car behind you, in front of you, you will not like me because I'm going too slow. Now if there's a car ahead of you turning right, your driver behaviour is perfect because then you're dictated by the car in front of you. But when you are the lead vehicle, you drive too quick when you approach an intersection.
Okay.
I'm using a word that hopefully you'll understand better.
So I should slow down more when I approach.
Yes, just
Slow
a
down
little more.
more.
Okay, so you're
Okay.
clearer in terms
Okay.
of your intention.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, so you made the turn absolutely beautiful. There's nothing wrong with your turn. It's just when you're going towards an intersection where you're meeting another road or another road user, your intention isn't clear.
Okay.
Only to a very,
Yeah.
very experienced driver.
I think
or
I'm just
you.
mixing up like pausing too long.
Yes.
Pausing too long and then not moving like turning fast enough or.
Yeah.
I'm mixing those up. Yes, I understand now.
So when we came along this road and I said to you, have you played that game of Snake on a Nokia phone? Do you understand why I said this to you?
Because there was lots of cars behind me, so I need to slow down, like well before I get to where I need to get to, so that they all know to slow down.
Because if you brake too hard, I promise you, one of them will go into the back of somebody, and indirectly you're responsible. Okay, could there be another reason why I mentioned that to you?
No, I don't know.
Have you ever driven a large, long vehicle, like a U-Haul trailer? Have you ever hired one in America?
No.
Okay, do you know? Have you ever pulled it? Has your husband ever pulled a trailer or anything?
Well, it's heavier and it's harder to stop.
And it's longer.
And it's longer, yeah.
So do you know when you're stopping behind a car, you need to look behind you because maybe you can bring your car behind the car in front. But if the car behind you cannot come into the gap of the car that you've got, you're actually subconsciously blocking the road. So you'd need to kind of half hang into the road and half behind the vehicle that you're stopping behind to let the larger vehicle behind you come in between that space. I want you to look in your mirrors more often when you're stopping. I need you to process what you're doing because let's say, for example, you're stopping behind this white car and the car behind. Let's say there's a car behind us. You can fit in. You would get within 2 car spaces of that car. But if there was a long lorry behind you that's coming behind you, he can't. Now, because he can't, the bus ahead of you will stop. And the bus might stop very close to your car, which means you need to go through that very small, very narrow gap. Because if you don't, the lorry behind you can't move forward.
Yeah.
So you need to look in your mirrors more often when you're slowing down and considering stopping, and also consider where you stop. If you have a very small car behind you, what you're doing is perfectly fine. If you have somebody that's driving a big lorry, you can't do what you're doing now.
Okay.
Because you're stopping with every vehicle that's parked on the left. So that divide line in the middle I use as a ruler. As I'm travelling along this road, if anyone is getting close to that line, subconsciously I know how close I am to the centre line. So while I'm driving this car, while I'm going along this road, I know how close I am to the centre line when I'm driving. This road is very narrow. I'm very close to it anyway. If there is anyone touching the line or going over the line, I will consider stopping. The reason for that is I'm close to the line.
Okay.
So I want, while you're driving along this road and wherever you're stopping, I want you to realise if you need to stop. Secondly, if there's a vehicle coming along the road, is it a bus or car? If it's a car, you can actually get past sometimes. I want you to think about going through. Also want you to consider stopping. If you stop for the right reasons.
Okay.
When you stop, whoever you're stopping for, imagine them as an inexperienced driver, not as good as how you drive.
Okay.
And give them more room. So when I stopped you at that junction, when you come over the roundabout, do you understand why?
Because the bus needed.
It needs more space.
It needs more space to get through.
It's a solid object and it's a long object. So consider whatever you're stopping for, exaggerate, stay a little further back.
Mm-hmm.
If you are going to stop and you think you're stopping too far back, reconfirm it with me. No big deal.
Okay.
Okay. Any idea
Can
why?
I just clarify?
Yes, of course.
When you said that if there's a lorry
behind you, coming along the road
and they
with
can't, what do you mean they can't get through the gap?
Okay, so you're going along this road and there's always going to be cars parked on the left.
Yeah.
So when you're continuously stopping for vehicles that are parked, so coming along this road, you are slowly increasing like the snake of your car.
Mm-hmm.
So you're increasing how many cluster of cars are coming along this road with you.
Mm-hmm.
In between there will be a lorry.
Yeah.
If the lorry is behind you and you are stopping for, let's say you're stopping near this white coloured car to let a bus come through.
Yeah.
Well, the bus will start coming through and the lorry will be behind you. And if there's a car parked behind you and a car parked ahead of you and you are bringing your car into the centre to let the bus go past you,
Yeah.
you are not thinking about where you're stopping, because if there is a large vehicle behind you, the front of the wagon will go past the black car. Let's make this up. Let's say there's a black car, but the back of it will still be in the road.
Oh, okay. So
So
we
you
don't
need-
want the lorry to be blocking.
Yes.
Like a junction if it's like a build-up.
Yes.
Okay.
Because then you're going to wait for the bus to go past for you to go through.
Okay.
But because you're not looking in your rear view mirror when you're stopping, you're not assessing whether that bus can actually get past in terms of what you're doing.
Okay.
Especially on this road, Queenswood Drive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're going to follow the road down. You're going to increase your mirror checks as you're driving. Now, Amber's saying to you when you're approaching, saying to me actually, that when you're approaching an intersection, so something where I'm giving you an instruction. For example, when you're turning right at a junction, when you're turning left at a junction, your approach speed is fast. So it's faster than everybody else. So if everyone's speaking English and we're speaking German, we're not going to work together. Similarly, your car is just 2-3 miles an hour faster, because when I tell you to do something, when I give you an instruction, your response to that is a little slow. Mm-hmm. You're doing it later, you're doing it when you normally would do in your own country. Here, at least 10 car spaces back. So when I said to you, tell me when you see the roundabout sign, the reason why I asked you that question, I need to know where you respond from. So what you should have done was, let's say 10 lines for me is brilliant. Mm-hmm. So these lines on the floor, let's say for the sake of argument, they represent a car's length. If you do whatever routine you're doing 10 lines away from wherever you're doing it, as long as there's no junction before your junction, I'm quite happy with that.
Okay, so as long as there wasn't like another right turn before the roundabout, I could have signaled 10 spaces
you should
back.
do.
Yeah,
you should do.
But if there was another junction before the roundabout, or not,
So what could you do other than signal to let that driver know that you're turning right?
Wait until I'm past the junction and then signal.
Anything else you could do with the car to show that you're turning right?
Position it to the right.
Yeah, and you'd adjust your speed, and by that time you would have then signaled as well. So your car positioning is your signal, your speed is a signal, where you're looking is a signal. So there's lots of things that give away what your intention is. Then at the end, you'd obviously signal. But if there's no junction before your turn, you must signal. Are we clear on that? Yeah. Okay. So when you're ready, I want you to move off. Oh yeah. So why did we end up hitting the curb? Because my pupils don't hit the curb.
I pulled in too close.
Did you pull in too close, or did you stare in the left door mirror too long?
Probably that.
Yeah. Avoid doing that. So when you're looking in the mirror, no problem. Look as much as you want, but glance. Look very little. So look left, look ahead. Look left, look ahead. Just in case somebody comes out of that house and walks in front of your car. Very important. If you hit the curb like this on your test, If it's a small, like little bump like that, you'd get away with it. Anything harder, you may fail your test, especially if you're going at high speed. Okay, so I look in my left door mirror once I've stopped. There is no problem with you moving the car forward if you're not happy where you stop. See, if you look at the red car now in your door mirror, you see how the red car stopped? Because all these cars had to stop. The red car stopped, there's a lorry going through. And we call this a bottleneck. So the red car stopped to let everyone through, but the lorry got stuck in this little section over here. So what the red car had to do was force himself through, which gives the lorry enough space to get through. You'll see this, now that I've mentioned it to you, you won't unsee it once you stop. Okay, so what I'd like you to do now is move off when you're ready, follow the road ahead, at the traffic lights turn left, and you'll be doing this on your own, please.
So I'm turning left at the traffic light?
Yes, so continue following the road ahead, and then at the traffic lights turn left. So this is like your last bit of independent drive, or a continuation of your independent drive. And now go before the yellow one. Yes, that's right. You don't need to speed up. Your driving speed was good. That's all you need to do. So you wouldn't just continuously stay there. Does that answer your question?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
You cannot keep sitting there for all the vehicles to go past you. So you had a gap between the yellow van and the white van. You would go through that gap. You got to remember the yellow is not a part of the white car's cluster, the white van's cluster. So now go quiet again, hopefully, and let you do a little bit of driving on your own. You'll follow the road ahead, then at the traffic lights, you'll turn left. I'll then get involved again with your directions.
Turning left here.
We are indeed, yes.
Is there a left turn lane here? There is. And I can just go ahead and
Yes, you
turn
can,
left.
yes. Are you happy with the way she made that turn there? That's fine. There. Quick fix. So the speed that you turned at, the positioning of your car, and the way you steered, perfectly fine. So if you keep that up and use that as a minimum standard, your driving standard with your turns would be correct. At the traffic lights, go ahead. Speed's perfectly fine. And that's the speed we need you to approach a junction at, just in case something goes wrong and you're not aware or you're not in control of. You'll have a backup plan, and hopefully it'll be a good one. Okay, so follow the road ahead. Not at the crossing, but at the traffic lights, turn left. follow the road round to the right. That's correct, yes.
And then turn left here.
Mm-hmm. With that turn as well. There you go. So now you understand the benchmark when you turn. That speed was perfectly fine, and that was 10 miles an hour. That will at about 7, 8, 9. At the traffic lights, follow the road ahead. In terms of why I'm asking a third party about your turns is, you know your seat where you're sat, you are strapped into your seat. So you know the way the driver's seat and the front passenger seat is designed, it holds you, it hugs you into the seat. The back seats are not designed like that.
I see.
The back seats are benches. So literally a little bit of a turn and it throws you around the car. Whereas, yeah, it's open. Whereas the front seats, I'm like held in place with a seatbelt and also the side sort of cushioning of my seat. I don't move. Whereas they do in the back. So they feel, in terms of our turns, a lot more aggressively. So in terms of the way you're turning now, is perfect. You need to keep this up for your test and after you pass your test throughout your driving life. And hopefully it's exactly how your husband turns. And to get a feel of that, the next time your husband drives, sit in the back of the car and you'll feel his turns. And the negative or the bad thing about turning sharply is if it's frosty or if it's snowing, your car will slide. And unfortunately, it'll slide into something. So now that we've fixed the turns, we're going to go back to our original sort of lesson format, which was bay parking today. Okay? So we're going to follow the road ahead. I'll take you somewhere where we can quickly get your bay parking in, and hopefully before the end of the lesson get them to a better standard than what they are at the moment again. So continue following the road ahead, I'll give you directions.